I remember this place. This was a place of beauty, of life, and of love. Now, it is a place of sadness. I looked at the house where I stood, and I just shook my head. What happened? I walked up the steps to the front door. These steps used to be white. Now the paint is chipping. The railings are rusted. And last of all, the number 31 are gone. I looked at the porch. These pillars used to be white. Now the paint is chipped and it is no longer white, but yet gray. I looked at the front door where the glass was. The paper stood abandoned. As I entered the house, all I could be was amazed. It was dusty, old, and empty. I looked at the living room. Over here used to be a jukebox where my grandparents would play their music. Over here was a record player. I remember dancing in the middle of the floor with my grandmother one morning. Over here was the couch that was always covered in plastic. And it was a hideous flower patterning on it. Over here, my grandfather always sat in his wheelchair. Now, the jukebox is gone. The record player is gone. And the couch is the only thing that sits. I walked to the dining room. Here used to be a round table. And my grandmother had a thing for flowers. She always had a fresh bouquet of flowers sitting in the center. Now, the only thing that sits is the old dresser that they had in the dining room for some reason. Over here used to be my grandmother's china closet. She always used to tell me, don't touch anything in there. It's more valuable than anything. Now that too is gone. I stood in the center of both rooms. The center of where life and love was brought into the house. I walked into the living room again, and up the winding steps. I stood in a hallway. To the left was the bathroom. In front of me were the two rooms, which was my grandparents' room and the room everybody was brought up in. And to my right was my uncle's room. I walked straight ahead into my grandparents' room. Right here was my grandmother's huge chest. Right here was where the bed stood. This side was his, this side was hers. My grandfather too had a huge chest, but he usually kept his suits in there. My grandmother kept her wedding dress in hers. I remember this place. This was a place of beauty and of love. I walked out their room and back to where I stood at the top of the steps. And I went to the room next to theirs. This was the room I remembered the most. This was my room. This was my brother's room, my sister's room, my mother's room. And then this was also my grandparents' children's room. This is a room everybody was brought up in. This is the room I remember most. This is the room I will miss. This house was so full of love. This house was so full of memories. This is the house I grew up in. This is the house I also lost my grandparents in. This house used to be so lively and so lovely The flowers were always blooming. There was always a tree that had blossoming flowers on it. And now, the tree is dead. The bushes are gone. The house is decrepit and sad. The life that this house once had, and the life that my grandparents once had, that brought this house to life itself, is now gone. But the only thing that will linger are the memories, the love, and everything that came with it. I walked back down the steps and looked at the house from the outside. This is the house I grew up in. I walked to the side of the house to the backyard. Over here, I wanted a tree house, but that tree house never came. We always used to barbecue out here, always throw family parties, but now the table that was once here is broken. The grill that was here is now knocked over, and the patio is just destroyed. Over here is where I used to play. I have a little plastic house over here. I can't even fit in anymore. I will miss this place. I walked back to the front of the house. I will always remember the memories you gave me. And I know you will bring new memories to the new family that owns you.